a lot of humans, they do suck at hiring because
So
we have
that's- yeah.
bias. We have human bias.
But
and
that's
I
now that's
suck
the
at
conundrum.
hiring.
But this is the conundrum, though.
yeah.
So this is the thing that's like weird now. Just for this part of it is my reflex when I hear something like that is to go, oh no, this is not good. How can you have AIs screening people's interviews? But then on the other hand, I go, if you have 100,000 people applying to a job, let's be honest. I don't think there's any human who's going to get through those 100,000 applications. I don't think there's any humans. And I wouldn't be shocked if there were like a bunch of humans who were skipping through this before because they were just like, it's like auditions in a way. At some point, the person's tired.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
you want to get them when they're fresh. You want to get them when they're in the mood.
Yeah, not when
And
they're hungry.
I wonder,
or-
is there a world where, like, does the AI make it better then?
You know, I wish I could tell you that.
So we
and
don't know.
We don't know. I've asked
Oh, wow.
many companies to let me come in as a researcher and like sort of look at like, here's your traditional way of hiring, here's your AI hiring, and
And
have
what did
this
they
like
say?
run at both times, and then sort of double check, like, you know, the people that the AI said that would be high performers, did they actually turn out to be high
Yeah.
performers? And I have not seen a company do this or want to share this with me or with anyone. I think it's
Huh.
because I don't know. There's like a lot of turnover in HR. Like these processes don't work that well. And I think what we already know. So what we know from a survey of C-suite leaders, like sort of leadership in companies of over 2,000 in Germany, the UK, and the US, when they asked them if your company uses AI tools, do they reject qualified candidates? And almost 90% of the leadership said yes. So they know that their tools reject qualified candidates. They still use it because I guess the efficiency from using AI versus humans, it's just much, much more greater. But it's not that we know that one process is better than the
Yeah.
other. I mean, we do know that like humans are very biased in hiring, and even the best anti-bias training is not going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all know the shortcuts, right? If you see somebody on your resume that they went to Harvard, you're like, oh, they must be smart. No.
They're not.
Probably.
Eugene, I feel like you just
we
did
know
like
from
going down a
social
rabbit hole.
science.
This episode, Eugene Koza learns about the world. She's like, wait, what are you telling me?
Well-
but you go, you know. So this is where I feel like we stumble on the first conundrum. Generally, machines like predictability.
Yes.
Right? Algorithms like predictability. That's what an algorithm is fundamentally sort of trying to do.
It finds like patterns and, you know,
And a pattern is a predictability.
Yeah.
Right? The conundrum or the paradox of being human is that the biggest breakthroughs that have come from humanity have often come from the pattern breakers. The
Yes.
person who didn't think correctly, the person who didn't fit the algorithm, the person.
The outliers.
The
Yeah.
outliers. So I wonder if companies in moving all of their resources towards efficiency and pattern recognition might go the opposite direction of innovation, because it's almost like the misfits and the mistakes are
Yeah.
sometimes the ones who give you the biggest
The
blips.
weird
Do you know
stuff.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
I feel like the solution has caused a problem. Well, we were speaking about how many people had applied to Goldman Sachs, and I think if it wasn't for technology, would you still get that many applications?
That's interesting.
Would
Yeah.
100,000 people from all over the world show up at the address to put in their resume?
This
So
is
I think
true.
technology also allowed easy access. Because I also
Absolutely.
think there's people who know they don't qualify, but would do it anyway.
Yeah.
So why would you put a human through all of this? But also I think it's a box ticking exercise for some companies as well. I think some companies don't want to hire anybody, but they'll just put out a thing that says we want to hire somebody.
Yeah.
Then they'll end up doing the internal process anyway, because if you're going to trust people with people's monies and files and information, you'd want someone that you know. So I think companies know exactly what's going on, but they're just sending out hope. And I think once you advertise a job, it's a great way to advertise your company as well.
Yeah. I mean, sort of like people online, you know, they often joke because obviously some people obviously are very aware that companies use AI, and now a lot of, you know, I think it felt very like passive and sad for a lot of applicants until sort of LLMs and ChatGPT and other AI came around. Where now it's like much easier for me as an applicant to generate a resume. There's actually now
It's AI warfare.
Yes, it is AI
Because
versus
it's like
AI.
I'm going to use the AI to apply for the job. They're going to use the AI to grade me. I'm going to use the AI to pass the grades.
Yes.
Then they're going to.
I'm going to try to use AI to like outsmart the AI. There's actually AI programs that now apply for you. So you don't even have to do anything. So there's all kinds of stuff. But like the question is like, well, what are we then doing here? Like,
what are we?
Yeah, what
in
are
fact,
we
that
doing?
That
is a great question.
That becomes the question. What are we doing? Because if the AI is hiring the people who are using the AI to get the job, that the AI has hired the people, then that's what I mean, is like we have to ask the fundamental question, wait, what was the point of this process in the first place? Because multiple studies have shown humans are terrible at predicting the future, especially when it comes to hiring, right? A lot of the time when you're hired because the person sitting across from you saw something in you that they considered correct for the company. But a lot of the time it's just wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's wrong. And then people don't do well and they go like, well, that didn't work. But the prediction is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now I almost feel like we forgot what the whole point of an interview was. Like I'm not a historian, but if I was to bet, I would think an interview was just to be like, let me see what your vibe is.
Just a vibe check.
It was a vibe check.
Yeah. But it turns out like vibe checks, not so great actually. Like because
At predicting who's a good employee.
Yeah, but also like a vibe check is like finding people who like are often like have the same background as you. They speak like you. They vibe with you.
Exactly.
So you find the same people again.
Yes.
Which, we kind of know that like diversity is good for companies. Also, like, I mean, I think that's why we have, fewer women, people of color in leadership positions, because we have underestimated them as humans in hiring for decades and promotion decisions. So we have like sort of a lack of diversity already because of human bias and sort of the vibe.
Yeah,
When you come to a job interview, you want nothing more but like somebody, like the HR manager or the hiring manager to like you. And then you start talking about like, well, what school did you two go to? Like, what did you?
Shirts, boy,
you like this?
On.
You like this? Sports team, yada yada yada. And that chit chat feels like very good for humans to make a human connection.
Yes.
But it's actually really bad because that what brings the bias in. Because now as a hiring manager, I'm like, oh man, you went to the same school as me. It's so cool. I see you in a completely different light than other people, and I'm supposed to look at like what are the capabilities and like your skills that you need for the job. Not if we went to the same school, but we as humans do that, and that's where like a lot of the bias comes in. The unfortunate thing is you might think, well, AI is like a pattern machine that just finds patterns, right? And it will just look at your like capabilities, your skills, and find the most skilled person.
I'll be honest, I don't think that textbook thing is like a real issue. I feel like it's one of those manufactured issues that often happens in America that gets people riled up and gets them fired up, fighting about something that was never an issue to begin with, And the reason I say this is because that's honestly what I believe. I feel like in America, politicians have done a really good job of tricking Americans into fighting about issues that were never an issue to begin with, so that you don't pay attention to the issues that actually are. If they can get you fighting about what's in a textbook, you don't pay attention to the fact that inflation is out of control. You don't pay attention to the fact that rents are out of control. People cannot afford to live anywhere. Your salaries have never kept up with inflation. Corporations steal billions and billions of dollars from their employees with no ramifications. You don't pay attention to any of that. You pay attention to what's catchy. It's easy to keep up with. It keeps you going. Ooh, can trans people use public bathrooms? Ooh. It's manufactured. Who was actually dealing with this issue? And I mean this, honestly, who was actually dealing with this issue? You know what they did? Some politician out there figured out. They go, here's a small story affecting a few people in a random place. I'm gonna make it seem like this is a nationwide issue. And then everyone starts fighting about it. But who? Who was really dealing with it? Huh? Who of you here has ever been in a situation where you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden a skirmish broke out and you heard people being like, excuse me, is this the gender that you were born with? Does it coincide with the sign on the door? Is your genitalia matching this? Can I see it right now? Who's ever seen that? Nobody. Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it. Who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's going to stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's going to enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're going to figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're going to fight because you got to know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. You're standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You hear him like, you be like, hey man, hey, you all right? Yo, hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're gonna have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. Like, how does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually, in fact, any man in here, I don't, like, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell, there is no stain, there is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady's pooing, never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee, it takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hands, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, if she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurant. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're gonna have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work, huh? So what, they're gonna be standing there while I'm peeing, huh? And they're gonna be looking at my wiener, huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Yo, I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But, like, just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away and I get hard and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Why? Public bathrooms. That's why you shouldn't bury your history. Yeah, because if you know it's happened, you know what to predict. You understand why it happened in the first place.
Your work really delves into keeping the job, which I think a lot of people aren't aware of and might even be more terrified to find out about.
Oh, yeah,
Like-
what we see at the surveillance at
Yeah,
work.
like for instance, and I know there was an explosion of this during COVID. Once people were working remote, and then companies were like, we need software to know whether people are actually in their underpants or not, and we need to figure out like what people are doing at home. But now companies are starting to deploy AIs that not only see how like active you are, but they try to predict whether or not the company should fire you, not based on what you're doing now, but what the company thinks you might want to maybe do or not do.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think it's often like, it's called like a digital neighbor or something. Like sort of like the idea is like you are a vice president of sales of North America, so there might be a vice president of sales in Europe, and
Okay.
one of them is like might be more successful or not. That's actually kind of vague and hard. But for the sake of this example, we'll assume, okay, maybe the European person is better at their job. And so then an AI will like sort of take in all of the digital traces that you leave, how many emails you send, how many Zoom meetings you attend, are you a bully in Zoom meetings, do you speak up? Like it can kind of assess a lot of different things and then tell the person in the US like, hey, the person that is your job in Europe and like sells more or whatever, like is more
Wow.
successful, they do this. Why aren't you doing that? It's sort of like a
Damn.
clone of like looking at all of everything that gets recorded. And, it's sort of like, I don't know, we have different ways to be successful. Like maybe you write 500
Yeah.
emails. The next person is successful by doing like 100 in-person meetings a week. That's probably not possible. But, maybe they do 50 a week. Who knows? But we sort of, and, what does it mean to be successful? Like we had this like whole thing, probably don't remember this, and I might be dating myself, but there used to be like algorithms in New York City to assess teachers like 20 years ago or so. Like every parent was like, I want to know how good my teacher is. Well, it turns out like these algorithms were terrible. And a lot of teachers were like put in rubber rooms because their students didn't gain enough knowledge in a year. But it could be that they were already at the top.
Wait, the teachers were put in what?
They're called rubber rooms when teachers were not in the classroom anymore, but they were still on the payroll of the Department of Education. They called them rubber rooms at the time.
Rubber rooms.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
because in
think
my
they-
head I was
they
like
did just,
picturing a room.
You
Like,
had
I was
to
like,
go somewhere to
I was like a
work.
room made of rubber. What
No,
is-
it sounds like a cell. I think it wasn't a cell.
okay, no, because you just went through that. You were like they put the teachers in rubber rooms, and then I was like, wait, they did what to them?
So
Oh, they just called it a rubber room. Huh?
I don't actually know the history of that. Good question.
Yeah, I want to know.
You want to know about the rubber rooms?
Yeah, no.
now.
If someone's taking me to a rubber room, I want to know what a rubber room is.
I would actually
You would love
take
to
you
go
to the rubber room.
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
Wow.
I don't know if I want to go there.
Wow!
You're gonna get paid for free.
It
You don't have to do nothing.
It too.
Wouldn't you want to be in a rubber room at some point?
Play squash.
Play
Good
pickleball?
place.
in a
Good
rubber
place
room.
to fall in a rubber room.
I still, I still
Good place to fall.
I still can't believe how digital peeping tom and the digital tattletales It's just everywhere now.
Yeah, it is everywhere. I mean, it starts like super benign with like your green light on your email, like are you active or not? That's sort of like a way.
Yeah.
And then we see when people realize, oh, everything gets recorded. We see sort of what we call productivity theater. That people like
Slow it down. Did you say productivity theater?
Yeah, it's like sort of gaming the algorithms. So you
like
sort of
acting like we're busy.
Exactly. So like in the morning, like you check in on Slack and be like, hey, everyone, good morning. Like 7:45, crazy. And then you turn around and take your dog for a walk and then you don't show up at your desk at 10. But smoke and screens, you were productive at 7:45. Well, an algorithm will now be able to understand that you haven't
Can
sent
I
any
tell
emails
you
in
what
an
you've
hour.
just done, though? You have, in a single sentence, unraveled one of the greatest mysteries I have struggled with working in an office. I remember the first time and only time I worked in an office. I was always shocked by how some people were just constantly sending emails and messages. And I always felt like they were unnecessary. And they were always at random times, sometimes on a weekend. I was like, but now when you put it that way, I go, they weren't working. They were trying to maintain the appearance of working.
Productivity
So you just
theater.
you send a message at 6 a.m. and people are like, man, you up at 6 a.m.?
Yeah, wow. Emails at 3 a.m. What the?
Well, you just don't stop working.
Yeah. And, I do think that
Meanwhile, you just left the club.
Send.
Schedule send.
Schedule send.
Schedule send.
Schedule send. Look at this.
Yeah. But, think about it. Like the office was like sort of always a place to look for productivity, right? Because you had a manager look at everyone who's working. And if you left early, that was not so good.
Yep.
Even though, we know that some people just like sat at their computer, surfed the internet and didn't do any work, but they were physically at their seats. We didn't have the technology to actually like sort of see every one of their clicks and what they're doing. And now we do. And sort of we can sort of look at everything you do. But like the question is like, is this kind of analysis really meaningful to understand how many emails you sent? Does that actually have anything to do if you are productive or successful? And what does successful in this job mean?
Those computer systems you're speaking about, I remember reading about how warehouses also using it. Like this is something that I hope people understand will be pervasive across all jobs. Because if you work in an office where you're using a computer, they can track your clicks, they can track your typing, see what you're doing and how you're doing it. But in warehouses, I've seen that now they're deploying AI camera systems that see how many employees take bathroom breaks or don't take bathroom. I swear, how long you spend in the bathroom, how quickly you actually move one package over to the next, they look at
productivity
that.
algorithms. How many like items do you put in a box per minute, per hour?
Now imagine your bladder.
Those...
Your bladder is the reason that because you've got a smaller bladder than another person, you're getting fired.
Technically, that would be illegal, but
but they wouldn't say it's because of that.
Yeah.
Because they would just go like, you take excessive bathroom breaks.
Yeah, or you're falling under your productivity.
Exactly,
algorithm.
because the other people around you, they're hitting these numbers. Why aren't you hitting those numbers?
As a conspiracy theorist, I'll always say, who is benefiting from this? Who is because I look at COVID, and you explained to me how tough COVID was in the city.
Yeah.
But if you look around the world, how many running shoes have suddenly become in fashion? How many running clubs, how many running apps are being used? How many outdoor activities, hiking, you name it, that people are now having invested themselves in and investing a ton of money in because they missed being outside so much because it was taken away from them. Could it be that people that fund startups are now having the time of their life because they realize there's these educated people who are trying to get into the job market with these kind of expertise and these kind of interests, but maybe they're not going to get in there. So how about we give them a hand and make money out of them?
Sure. I mean, I think like the way we see like this kind of technology benefit is usually the companies, because that's where the money is, right? Like is an individual like going to buy
Always follow the money.
success company, like Success AI, like we don't really see it. It's not really a market, right? Like this the same way for like job applicants. There is some AI where you can sort of test your resume and the job description, but we see like vastly outnumbered AI for like vendors, the people that make the employment decisions. Those folks, because that's where the money is. Like I sometimes dream of like, we were talking about bias and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you have like a bias detector in job interviews that pings the hiring manager, like stop talking about your schooling. Like, this is like where bias creeps in, or at least analyze afterwards. So you get like real-time feedback, like, hey, you shouldn't really ask those questions. Like stick with the structured interviews in a job interview, for example. And we don't see that because I don't think there's really a market there to do that yet. I sometimes feel like, wouldn't it be cool? Like I have a young kid. So like if you're like a parent and you have a little AI who's like, hey, you really shouldn't get so upset with your kid. You should really say, I like how you did this and this. But like, I think a lot of parents wouldn't want to do that because as soon as you have the data, somebody else like Child Protective Services or wherever can come in. Show up. And look at that and be like, the way you talk to your kid, no good. Like no one wants that, right?
You're not fit to be a parent. We'd love to hire you as a manager at our company.
How's your bladder?
You have the personality. What I have learned by like bringing AI into the talent acquisition hiring space, I learned like how bad our old processes are. Like job interviews, actually really bad, because it sort of filters out the people who are good about talking about doing the job
as opposed to doing the job.
So we have this like competence versus confidence problem. Like people who like come off as like confident, we often think like, well, that person speaks so confidently they must be really good. It turns out like that are more often than not men, and that doesn't mean actually they're competent. So we sometimes complain about
no,
never.
What?
So
little old us, Hilka. No.
As always, not all men, but a lot.
Us little old men, acting like we know more than we do. Us? Come on, Hilka.
Mansplaining? What?
Wait, I think this is highlighting yet again the same point again of saying that biases have gotten us this far. I've often heard people who go, if I'm in a criminal trial and I'm thinking of what kind of lawyer to get, I want someone who's talkative, who's out there, who's loud.
Yeah.
But the person who handles my finances must be quiet, reserved and frugal, and they'll know how to handle my finances. You know what I'm saying? So
we have
an
never
idea.
heard about this talkative lawyer, but I'm sort of
we have an idea.
You want someone who goes razzle dazzle. We've seen the lawyers that represent rappers
charisma.
and charisma.
Yeah, you want, and it's interesting to exactly what you're saying. If I hear you correctly, you're saying, in a way, it seems like we are expanding and scaling on a foundation that was already broken.
Yes. Absolutely. The way we hired was already broken. Like job interviews are broken, like sort of looking at, and resumes have very little predictability because, like you put certain like things, you need to have this skill and this skill in the job. And then and you put that on everyone who applies for the job, 99% of the people will have that on their resume. So, and you can't find like things like teamwork. Are you a good collaborator?
Yeah, you don't know.
How are you going to know that from a resume? How are you going to know that from a job interview? You can ask like questions like, well, tell me how you overcome, really a challenging situation at work. But you can train for that. Like the best way, one of the best way to predict if you're going to be successful, this will come to no surprise to anyone, is to put you in the job. And then you can find out if you're going to be good at the job.
Hey,
that is,
look at that.
Totally doesn't work for most companies to hire 100 people and then let 99 go at the end of the month. But sort of my hope sometimes is like, wait a second, like we have virtual reality, like we have other ways, like could we put people in the jobs and actually have them do the jobs, the most important parts of the jobs, and then figure out
just
like
see how they actually are at the job.
And I think that would also give candidates a way to sort of understand better what is this job actually.
Have you suggested this to companies? Because I like this idea. I really do. I really do.
I do.
Think about it.
I think it turns. I do think it is a little bit more complicated than just what I'm saying. Because like a lot of jobs have different. They have like different capabilities and different things that you have to test for.
Right.
And some of that is hard to test, but we need to be better. Or some like total cynics in this world have sort of suggested, you know what? If you want to hire, use a random number generator because that is at least fair. You have the same fair chance as you,
The
you,
lottery
and you to get picked. Obviously,
it's
everyone
also a
is
way
like,
to go bankrupt as a company. I mean, that's like I'm all for like, but that's also like chaos. There's random and there's chaos. You know what I mean? If you're gonna say to people, a random number, just bring the person in. I don't.
if they have the basic capabilities. 'Cause,
Oh, okay.
know,
So
how
you're
would
going.
you know?
Okay, so you're going basic capabilities, and then like you've got the
Then you create
qualifications.
a
Then it's
lottery of-
random.
oh,
yeah.
I'm in for that.
Okay, okay.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I've often thought one of the worst things that happened to society was a series of movies, whether it was kids' movies or adult movies, rom-coms. But that were happily ever after. Like they ended at the moment where the people met. And
It's a huge
I
problem.
always wondered what that did to people's brains growing up in a world where they went like, oh, if you meet the person you love, that's the end. And then it's like, this is it. Like,
That's right.
What is that?
Pac-Man
That is the
did
same
that
idea.
to us as well.
I never finished
Remember?
Pac-Man.
There was they meet and then Miss
Yeah, but
Pac-Man
I've never seen the end of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I saw
So-
Junior Pac-Man, so I know what they did, but I don't know.
But
There's
there's no-
Junior
there's-
Pac-Man?
Yeah, Junior Pac-Man.
Junior
happened for sure.
Pac-Man.
There was Junior Pac-Man.
Junior Pac-Man.
Yeah, Junior Pac-Man.
Like
so I
baby,
knew that,
baby
yeah, like a
Pac-Man.
tiny little Pac-Man had a little bow, and then the but like a tiny little Pac-Man.
So as a girl Pac-Man.
Yeah, there was a boy and a
girl
girl.
child.
There was a
Miss
girl and a
Pa-
boy.
Miss
No, there was Miss
No.
Pac-Man, but then there was also Junior Pac-Man.
Junior Pac-Man. Good,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
they
The whole family.
Yeah, Pac-Man had.
I like these family values in video games like this.
Yeah, no, Pac-Man did it, bro. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi did it well.
No, they were brothers, bro. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you mixing up the story.
Yeah, they were family members.
Oh yeah, they were.
My
family.
kids are, they'd be like, what are these guys? Pac-Man? What are they talking about?
Okay, Elden Ring. Fine, we'll bring in Elden Ring.
Super Mario?
We'll Call of Duty. We'll go. We got every game covered here. You tell us the generation.
I don't know.
We're
And
here.
Yeah,
we've
I
got
know.
you. We've got you.
Yeah.
We got you. It doesn't matter what it is. This is What Now with Trevor Noah.
Yeah, no. I mean, so you're on tour all the time.
Not on tour, but just like life takes me, I've had the gift and the curse of planting, many trees in many different places.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes they call me to go and tend to them.
Right.
This is not a euphemism for families, Eugene. Please,
Yeah, no,
please.
How many children do you have?
No, Eugene was about to.
I was
Please, Eugene. I have zero. None of these things. Oh, yes.
Yeah, says ready manje. Do you speak Zulu?
It turns out I don't. It turns out I don't.
Because the way you turn like yeah.
It's like,
you're like,
I got my grandparents.
Yeah.
My great grandparents actually they were Danish, and they had this. They believed the Holy Spirit spoke to them that they should go become missionaries, Lutheran missionaries to the Zulus. in South Africa.
No ways.
Yeah, and they didn't speak a word of the Zulu language, which is problematic.
Big problem.
Did
But
the
they
Spirit actually
knew
speak
that the
Zulu?
Holy Spirit would teach them
Yeah,
the Zulu
there.
language,
There.
and he didn't. And he
There.
didn't. And so
Holy
they
Spirit was like
so they
Duolingo for who?
so they
them I
left
sent
after
you.
10 months, and they didn't go back to Denmark. They came to the United States and started a farm in South Dakota.
Do you understand how this
amazing.
one moment in time, if your grandparents just learned Zulu, you could have been South African. This would have been a totally different conversation.
Completely different
now.
conversation. And you and I would have had, these sort of parallel.
This is what I mean. Look at this connection. The other day, I was at Carnegie Hall, and I was thinking, you fell off the stage
I did.
at Carnegie Hall.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
What happened?
That was my Carnegie Hall debut. It was beautiful. I was 22.
What happened?
I was doing my Carnegie Hall debut in chamber
Yeah.
music. I was like a professional French horn player
You.
all through my 20s. I left college at 19. I dropped out. Or
Just to confirm, which one is the French horn?
the round one.
Yeah. The one you put under you, and then you.
It's the round one, and then it has the bell in the back that you put your hand in.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so the
Okay.
bell is going backwards.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
And I wanted to be the world's greatest French horn player since I was 8 years old.
You knew this is what you wanted to do.
I knew.
What did you see that made you think French horn player me?
Well, I I was a good musician. I started violin at 4 and piano at 5, and then the French horn at 8, and that's what I was really good at. And when you're a little kid, I mean, it's not like I loved music. I loved having people tell me that I was
Doing well.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of attention and affection, which is what all people who are addicted to success later in life have. And anybody who's a workaholic later in life, ordinarily their childhood is characterized by getting attention from adults because of what they do, and feeling like love is earned. Which characteristic is people I work with all the time. I say, let me tell you something about your childhood. And they say, how did you know? Because every striver has a different version of that same story. And so that's what I loved. I loved the attention that I actually got for being better than everybody else at one particular weird thing. And so I went pro at 19, playing chamber music and trying to become a soloist. And at 22, I got my big break, which was my Carnegie Hall debut.
No way.
Yeah. And at one point in the concert, the most stressful point of the concert, I had to walk to the front of the stage and talk to the audience to tell them about the next piece. And that's what stressed me out the most.
Were you holding
Not
the
the
French
playing.
horn at this time?
Of course. But, playing the French horn didn't stress me out. Talking to people in public stressed me out because I'd never done it. So, and I was rehearsing it in my mind and rehearsing, going through it and going through, and it came time and I was really nervous. And I walked to the front of the stage and I wasn't looking at my feet. And I fell off the front of the stage.
I've always wondered about people.
French horn in hand.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I've always wanted to ask somebody about falling off of a stage.
It's the worst.
Yeah, because it you watch videos of people who do it all the time, whether it's a catwalk, or whether it's a performance, or they just disappear. They do that thing. It's like 1 minute they're there, 1 minute, then it's like gone.
Right.
How painful is it?
It's it's about 6 feet. I landed on my elbow. So it was very painful. And I did a lot of damage to my instrument as well. And of course I did what anybody would do. Any 22-year-old man would do. I jumped up and said, I'm okay, folks.
Yeah.
My instrument is mangled. I'm clearly in pain. And there's a gasp from the audience.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's so funny that humans do that. Why are we more concerned with like assuaging the like everyone out there's having their own like fear. Everyone out there's going, are you okay? And we're like, no. I am okay. Do not worry about the arm that's dangling in the wrong direction.
Clearly something broken.
You do not worry.
Yeah.
I also think
Let's move on.
A group, are you okay, is not about you. It's about them.
But that's what I'm saying. Why do we care about... You've just fallen off a stage.
No, it's just about them. Is this concert going to continue? Is he still going to be able to do this thing for us at some point?
Where does that come from?
What do we
in
need to
society?
get involved?
What do you think that is?
So that's a natural human tendency to show strength. That's a natural human tendency to show resiliency. And it's especially true for men. They don't want to look as if they're vulnerable in any way. They don't want to look like they're weak in any way. It's very, very embarrassing to show that something has hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a young man, especially in front of a whole bunch of people that I'm trying to impress. I'd been spending the last hour and a half trying to impress them as deeply as I possibly could. This is my New York debut.
Carnegie Hall.
Carnegie Hall, baby. I mean, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Well, try not to fall off the stage, among other things. And so during that, what you don't want is that your weakness to characterize your New York debut. That's not what you want. And so the result is you're trying to wind back time. You're trying to wind back the time. I'm saying, I'm okay, folks. Let's just go back to the concert. And it's like, we're never going back.
We've just lost our French horn.
So that has happened to you. Some version of that, right?
Never.
There's never been anything in your life that has been...
Oh, you mean like on a stage? No, stage
your
level.
version of falling off the stage.
Yeah.
No,
What
I
was
mean,
it?
we've all had that somewhere.
But tell me.
No, yours.
Tell me the story.
We want to know particularly yours.
Yeah,
Let me think of one in-
You're next, Eugene.
I thought you were Zulu brothers. What's going on here?
Oh, wow. I'm hoping, so this is going to bring us closer to happiness, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
I promise.
So we've got to find this unhappy memory, and then you're going to bring us closer to happiness.
Because we're going to laugh like crazy about it now.
Let me
because
think.
it's
Where
in the
was
past.
one? Okay, I'll tell you where one was. The earliest I can sort of remember in my life was I was in a school play, and
Your school had plays.
yeah, your school didn't have plays.
Hey.
No?
So I was in a school play, and I was 6 or 7 years old, and in the play I was portraying a tortoise, right? And so I had a big shell on my back and a whole thing. And there was one part of the play where we all had this like march dance thing where it was like da 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 da, and we walk off the stage and then we walk back onto the stage and we walk off the stage on the stage. And then I was walking back onto the stage, and as I got up onto one of the steps, one of my tortoise feet caught the step. Because I hadn't walked much on stairs with tortoise feet. Human feet are pretty much
You
what I
didn't
was
attend
doing.
much rehearsals.
I mean, even then I didn't.
Also, rehearsals don't happen with costumes on.
Yeah, they don't.
Most of the time,
you just
it's
you just
cool
do it
plays,
with
yes.
like your, And I tripped, but it was one of those like where you save yourself from tripping, and so it makes the trip worse.
So you're just flying on.
Because often think if you just trip and fall down and get up, it's not bad. But sometimes you go, I'm not tripping,
right.
and then it draws attention to the trip. So it was like, and then while this was happening, everyone's turning, and the whole school. When I tell you, the whole school, because it was in the hall, laughed at the same time. And you know the laugh that kids have, young
Yeah,
kids. It's not just like a ha ha ha, like
Horrible, haunting.
It's that one of like, they love that laugh. What the hell? Whole school, up to maybe it was like
Teachers in
300
there.
kids, man. And that happened. And I remember the blood left my head and left my. I just wanted to disappear.
Yeah.
Right. And then, as I'm walking on the stage, because we have to do the parade multiple times, as we're walking down the other side, we come back up, and then I did it again, but this time I did it on purpose. And then they laughed.
Well played.
I did it as a bit, Charlie Chaplin.
Then they laughed again.
Uh-huh.
And then after the show, one of the teachers came and was like, "That was comedic genius. Oh, well done. That was brilliant."
Like
and
a
whatnot.
star is born.
Yeah.
It was literally and that. But I remember the shift in that moment from that. There's few moments in my life that I think have had more of an impact on me than that specific moment.
But the presence of mind that takes at 6 years old to figure out that this is a comedic bit.
I don't think I thought it was a comedic. I don't think I thought it was a comedic bit. I think I thought to myself, if I can be the person who is creating this, then you can't hold it against me. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It actually explains a lot.
Yeah, I was going like, oh, okay, no, I'm the one who did it. I'm the one. I did it.
Yes.
So the second time it's interesting. So it was surprising to them, but funny at the same time. The second time, actually, so there's this really interesting thing about comedy. There's a little part of the limbic system of your brain. It's called the parahippocampal gyrus. And what it does is that's what mediates surprise. That's the reason that all humor is based on surprise. It's all based on surprise. And so what'll happen, I mean, I could tell you a stupid dad joke.
Yeah.
And it's all based on that. So I want to die peacefully in my sleep, like my grandfather, not screaming in terror like his passengers.
Yes.
Right? So,
That's a brag.
thank you,
That was a
Eugene.
good one. No.
Thank you. It's great. You laugh more than my kids. So what that does is that flicks the parahippocampal gyrus. And if it's too much, you're going to like, why are you making fun of hurricane victims?
Oh, yeah, right.
And
right.
if it's too little, it's a pun. And you're like, ugh. You see?
But it's because it's basically is that part of the brain responsible for predicting something though?
Yes.
What is
So what it
happening
does is
there?
it sorts out cognitive dissonance.
Got it.
It sorts it out. That the parahippocampal gyrus is like you're going in one direction and then you say, what happened? Oh, that. And that makes you laugh. That's what makes you laugh. That's why surprise is funny. It's inherently fun. And then not the kind of surprise like the lawyer's on the phone, not that kind of surprise.
Yeah.
And so that's how all humor works, right? And so that's what you did at 6. You have a nose for it. You basically said, I'm going to come around the other time and I'm going to surprise them because the last thing that they're expecting is that Trevor trips a second time.
Yes.
And that's why they cracked up. But honestly, the first time they mocked you, the second time they actually laughed.
Yeah, no. The second time they were. It
was actually hilarious.
I had taken control of the thing.
Yeah. But you did it to flick their little parahippocampal gyruses. When you control the parahippocampal gyrus, you control the world. Actually, maybe that's a little bit too.
The gyrus part,
Damn,
does it
you
have
had me.
anything to do with the gyroscope? Nothing. Okay.
So
What's yours, Eugene?
Yeah,
What's
I know.
your-
We're getting to the good stuff here.
We'll get.
What's your moment?
Why are you looking at me like you expect me to tell you guys something embarrassing about my?
No, it's not.
Okay, here we
embarrassing.
go.
Just, what's your moment?
So this was my first year of school.
Uh-huh.
So my parents had bought me a school uniform, right? So everyone is excited about me going to school. Personally, I've been looking at these gray flannel pants for the longest time. I'm going to wear these pants, my uniform, my white shirt. I'm going to do this thing. So it came with a belt. Ironically, that's what I forgot this time on my trip. And I've gone to shop so many times. I almost bought the shiesty, but not a belt. In any case, so I go to school for the first week on Friday. And remember, it's orientation for us. So they're teaching us the songs that we must sing at assembly. We had assembly, but it was outside, no hall.
You what, like 6 years old?
6 years, yeah,
Okay,
first
6
year
years
of
old.
school.
Yeah.
So all of this is happening. I lose my belt playing football after school. So on Friday, I have to go to school without a belt. My mom notices that I don't have a belt on. What does she do? She had bought a pair of suspenders for Christmas clothes.
This is not the fashion statement you're trying to make. Is this what I gather?
Maybe
He's reliving this horrible moment,
maybe
this
the-
moment of trauma because of you.
maybe the professor will explain to
You were
me.
a tripping turtle, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
And I didn't go.
No, let me explain. Wait. Let me explain.
Mara Trevor,
Let me explain.
no,
Let me explain to
don't
you.
explain.
Wait, let me explain what happened
No,
to my
no, no.
brain. What happened there?
Hippocampus gyro.
My hippocampus gyro.
Parahippocampal gyrus.
That one.
Close
Found a
enough.
new one.
Yeah. Hippocampal gyro. You see the hippocampal gyro? It got flicked in my brain. Because of all the things I thought you would say, I did not think the word suspenders was going to come into this story at all. You said then my mom found out, and then I thought my mom was going to get angry. My mom was going to shout at my mom. There were many things.
Well, she did. She was.
No. But then you said my mom had bought a pair of suspenders.
Yes, for my Christmas clothes that I avoided to
Sorry.
wear.
Now carry on.
'Cause Christmas clothes
I'm
is a
just letting
big
you know, I
deal.
wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the suspenders that were just in the mix.
He was laughing with you.
Or about you. But not at you. Sorry, I apologize. Carry on. So your mom had bought Christmas suspenders.
That I avoided
Yeah.
throughout the whole entire December.
Yeah.
And I managed to go through Christmas without wearing them. And then she said, you're going to put on these suspenders because these pants are going to fall because they're not the exact size. You have to wear them. You have to grow into
Yeah,
them
you
a
have
little
to grow
bit.
into your clothes. Yeah.
This is 2 years worth of pants here. They've hemmed them up at the bottom. They're loose fitting. So I wear the suspenders, and mind you, I have to walk to school. There's no drop offs here. So all the way I'm wearing a jersey in the heat, going to school.
Hiding the suspenders.
Hiding the suspenders. I get to school. We're in assembly. I'm the shortest kid, so they put me right at the front. So we're singing this song, right? Our Father who art in heaven. But we had a version, an English version and an isiZulu version. So I went to a Catholic crèche.
I can
so
tell.
I knew the song very well. So the teacher that's been teaching us at assembly to sing this song for the longest time
Eugene.
noticed that I was actually hitting all the notes
No,
and switching
Eugene.
between the two languages. And then he said to me, you guys are idiots. There's this kid here. 4 days in this school, 5th day today, and he's hitting all the right notes. This is our school song. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy king. Baba
And
wetu
this
sema
kid,
Zulu.
yes, and this kid's nailing it.
This kid is nailing it,
Which
guys.
means-
he's the shortest here. He's the youngest here. He's the newest here. There's people who've been here for 4 years. The song is not working for you, but this kid is nailing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask this kid.
I knew it.
And you went up in front of the school.
I'm going to ask this kid to come in front,
Yo.
start the hymn from the beginning, and sing this thing. Then I'm like, eh? So
Oh,
this
man.
traumatic look that I have when you spring something on me and my hypogyrus campus is affected. There's this look I've been having since I was 6. So he takes his time instructing the biggest kid in the school to go fetch a desk in one of the classes to put as a stage for me.
Oh.
Then as this stage, my Carnegie Hall is being erected in front of me or behind me, he says to me, this jersey in this heat, this is South Africa in January, it's hot. So he says, you can't be wearing a jersey, take off. I'm like, no, trust me, I'm fine. He goes, you are not going to do that. And mind you, this is with a belt. The tailor made sure, Taylor being my mom, that the hemming up of these pants fitted perfectly to my ankles. Now, suspenders, on the other hand,
They pull it
they
way
were
up.
suspending my ankles.
Right.
That's what they were doing. And then he says to me, the jersey's coming off. So now I'm 6 years old, small kid. I'm trying to argue with this teacher as he grabs the shoulders and pulls off this jersey while he's plucking me up and putting me on stage.
Oh, man.
And
See
there
that
were
laugh?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All of that, the happened. And I knew I had one option here. Because the other option was if I jump off stage, I'll make a bigger idiot of myself because this rickety desk might actually be the end of me.
Yeah.
Then I stood there and I continued singing the song. Our Father who art, went on and until they all kept quiet and I switched between the two songs, Zulu version, the English version, and it ended. Then from then onwards, everyone called me Our Father for that year. Then I was like, it's ironic because
At least they didn't call you suspenders.
So that was my story. And then I went home and I told my mom that story. And, I was so embarrassed because it felt like a long day, obviously, of what happened, the nicknames that happened afterwards on my way home, playing soccer afterwards there. And my mom said, where, okay, in Zulu, she said, "Uhlephuke kuphi?" Means, where were you broken? Then I said, no, they hurt my feelings. She said, yeah, I hear that. But is there any part of you that they took away from you physically? Then I said, nothing. She says, life is going to be like that. People are going to try. You mustn't let them. Someone can surprise you about something that you are. They will say many things about you, but don't believe them because it won't break any bit of you. And the other thing was my name. People didn't know how to pronounce my name or write my name. And she taught me how to teach people how to pronounce my name. She said, you must say Eugen. Because if they want you to pronounce it like that, it means they're slow and you're not. So I learned all of those little things. And when it came to stage and performing, after a bad show, you're like, this is nothing compared to standing on top of a desk in an assembly with suspenders
This is beautiful. I'm basically picturing like a African Forrest Gump now.
Yep, 100%.
Literally, like the suspenders and your mom being like, slow is just over does. You can't sit here, our father. You can't sit here.
I haven't accessed that memory for the longest time.
There you go.
In fact, never.
That is so powerful and most powerful for me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You know what? The happiness you brought to me, one, you brought me closer to my friend.
Yeah.
But two, and more importantly, in your story, I noticed you were playing football.
I was good
Eugene.
at football.
This is
What do you mean I was playing football?
But now I see you're playing football. The football made you lose your belt. And this is another reason that you now hate football.
Oh my God.
I'm slowly piecing this together, my friend.
But for both of you guys, you think about this. These are the formative experiences that make us who we are. See, here's the deal. And this is a real problem, especially today. A lot of young people watch you, big fans.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake that a lot of young people make today is they think that the pain that they have must be eliminated. And the truth is that these experiences and the day-to-day suffering that they're going to inevitably face, that's their teacher and makes them who they actually are. So to the extent that we resist the pain in our lives to try to lower the suffering that we face, the worse off we are. The worse off that we are. The fact is, I asked you about something that was a really bad day for you.
Yes.
That you turned it into a good day. This was an unambiguously bad day for you. And for me, it was the worst day of my young adult life.
Right.
And in point of fact, these things made us who we are in a fundamental way. These were turning points. These were inflections. I realized that day that I didn't actually have to be this person, that it didn't matter. It didn't matter. That wasn't who I was the guy falling off the stage. That wasn't who I was. Here's the deal. It's funny. I was talking to this young guy. I do a lot of talks for young adults. And I was talking to a group of young adults in Washington, D.C. They were all working on Capitol Hill. And Washington, D.C. is the world's most dysfunctional dating market. It's a nightmare.
In what way?
That
Worse than
everybody's
prison?
kind of climbing and they want power and everybody's jockeying for position.
Okay.
It's socially dysfunctional. And I'm talking to this group. They're all in their 20-somethings on the Senate side. And I was talking about, you got to treat your life like a startup. You got to be an entrepreneur in the business of your own life. Your life is an enterprise. You're the founder. And the number one most entrepreneurial thing that you can do, you know what it is? Fall in love and put your heart at risk. Give your heart away, right? And I thought it was pretty clever. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, I'm on a plane, and a kid comes up, 26, kid compared to me, comes up and he says, Professor Brooks. I said, yeah. He said, I saw you give that talk on Capitol Hill. I can't get it out of my head. I'm on my way right now to tell a woman that I've been in love with secretly for 2 years that I love her because of your speech. And I'm like, it's only a speech. I don't want to ruin your life. Oh, wow. I don't want to ruin your life. And I'm like,
our hippocampus gyro is in
I
for
was
it
like,
today.
oh boy, her hippocampal gyro is about to get flicked pretty hard.
Man.
Anyway, so I said, well, let me know how it goes. And I give him my email. You don't hear from him, which is a bad sign. I see him several months later at a party in DC. I was running a company in those days. He comes up to me and he says, remember me? And I'm like, yeah.
Why so much
And
Hampton on the voice?
I said, yeah, on the plane, right? He said, yeah. I said, so what happened with that girl? And he said, she shot me down. She didn't just not love me. She introduced me to the guy that she was in love with. It was the worst day of my life. And I was very contrite. I said, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to ruin your life. And he said, no. I'm here because I wanted to tell you that I meant to get in touch and thank you. And I said, well, what are you, a masochist? Why do you want to thank me? And he said, because that was the thing I was literally most afraid of in my life. And it happened and I didn't die. I didn't die.
Did you break? No way.
Like
my mom said.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I broke my horn, but I didn't break my life. This is the thing. It's so funny because all these things that you break through, you had to stand up to your embarrassment, stand up to your shame. My first day lecturing when I was a brand new professor, I was nervous. And I had to give a 3-hour lecture in front of graduate students. This is hardcore. I was at Syracuse in those days. I had just come to Syracuse very early on in my career, actually. And I'm giving this 3-hour lecture, and I'm noticing they're kind of laughing at my jokes, and they're really all smiley, and they were very, very, very pleasant. And I thought, why is it that they're so amused by everything? But it went really well. I was kind of patting myself on the back. I had been very nervous. And I walk out of the lecture hall, and I'm walking down the hall, and I see one of my colleagues coming toward me, and he starts laughing. And I said, what are you laughing at? And he said, your fly's down. Oh. I had just given a 3-hour first lecture, and I was trying to impress them with my fly down. And a little piece of my shirt coming out of the fly.
Oh, that's like perfect comedy.
Yeah.
That's flawless comedy. When it does that little peak thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So,
it was beautiful.
Okay. So
but that's the point. And the whole point was I wasn't nervous anymore for any lecture after that ever.
Yes. Got many HR complaints, though. They were like, we would like you to zip the fly up. And he's like, this is the new me.
Sorry.
This is the new me. Professor Fly.
I got to be me.
I found myself, baby.
That's my suspenders. But this is the thing.
But this is what I get.
Face your pain, face your fear, face your suffering. Wait. Let's
do this step by step because I the thing I want to be careful of is you actually taught me this in many ways, but it's like sometimes when you speak to somebody who has mastered something or has a certain mastery of something, they can gloss through it and move through it in a way that sounds correct, but then sometimes doesn't connect with how people are hearing it. So let's take these things step by step because you study happiness.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you've studied it for how long now?
I wrote my first book on happiness about 25 years ago.
Right. So you've really been in the game.
Yeah, but I've been the last 7 years writing, speaking, and teaching full-time, nothing else.
Let's start with the core idea because I think it's important for us to build from the ground up, understanding you and understanding your work. The first thing I realized we need to think about is what is happiness? Because everyone says they want to be happy.
Right.
America, the pursuit of happiness.
Which is not the promise of happiness.
No, but the
anyway,
pursuit. Yeah. You know what I mean? The pursuit. So I want to know from you as somebody who's studied it, how do you define happiness?
So first, what is it not? It's not a feeling. The biggest mistake that we make is misunderstanding emotions. Most people think that happiness is a feeling, but happiness is a feeling kind of like your Thanksgiving dinner is the smell of your turkey. It's not. The smell of the turkey is evidence of Thanksgiving dinner, and the feeling of happiness is evidence of actual happiness. Happiness has, like your Thanksgiving dinner, has 3 macronutrients, 3 constituent parts that you need to get really good at understanding and changing your habits around. Number 1 is enjoyment, which is not the same thing as pleasure. If you're pursuing pleasure, you're not going to find happiness. You're going to find rehab. And it's very different, understanding the difference between pleasure and enjoyment. Second is satisfaction, which is the joy that you get from an accomplishment after struggle. And the accomplishment is not more important than the struggle for satisfaction. And the third is meaning. That's what I'm doing most of my work on for now years. Meaning, the meaning of life. What is the why of your existence? You need to become an elite athlete in enjoying your life, taking satisfaction in your accomplishments and your achievements, and understanding the why of your existence. Those are your 3 big jobs.
And enjoying
if you want to be a happier person. That's what it comes to. And then a lot of the time, you'll get the feeling of happiness. Not all the time, but that's not what you can rely on.
So happiness is the byproduct of the actions that you are taking.
Yeah. So the feeling of happiness is a byproduct.
Feeling, right.
The happiness itself is the amount of enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning that you're experiencing in your life.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fat that you eat is the amount of food and calories that you're getting. That's what it comes down to. That's how to think about it. And each one of those things is really important. Some people, the good news is nobody's great across all of these things. I have tests that I give my students to find out in which macronutrient they need work. I know a lot of people who take tons of satisfaction in what they do because they have a lot of achievements and they've worked hard and they've struggled.
Yeah.
But they don't know why they're doing it. They have a low sense of meaning. And I know a lot of really big executives, hedge fund managers and private equity people, and people make a ton of dough.
People that everyone are like sort of aspiring
Yeah,
to.
yeah. And they don't enjoy their lives at all because they don't know how to enjoy.
And what are they lacking in those instances? So somebody comes into your world who says, Professor Brooks, I'm nailing it. I'm satisfied in this realm. I'm doing it. But man, I just don't feel good. What do you find they're missing, or why is it so difficult to experience that happiness if they're missing meaning?
So if they're missing meaning, then there will be no reason for what they're doing. So meaning really has three. Meaning is the heaviest, most philosophical part of it all, but it's the most important of these macronutrients. It's the protein. It's basically the protein of your happiness is your meaning.
Driver.
Yeah. So meaning is really a combination of being able to answer three questions. Why do things happen the way they do in life? That's coherence. And some people answer that with religion, and some people answer that with science. I'm both religious and a scientist. Both. Some people, here's a funny thing. People who follow a lot of conspiracy theories. That's very common today. They're going down the rabbit hole. Are you a conspiracy theorist? Generally speaking,
Love your Batman voice, though. The best one I've heard yet.
The what?
We had Mamdani trying. It was okay.
You
Yours?
rate this one more?
Yeah.
Nah, Mamdani
The
still
Batman
wins it
voice.
for me.
The Batman voice?
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
You're a conspiracy theorist.
It's not bad. It's actually not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's like I'm auditioning to be the next Batman. I realize it's called Bald Batman.
You wear the that's why
I know, but
no one will know.
I know, but Bruce Wayne, he has a beautiful head of hair.
This is true.
I know, but not now. It's a new
Could
day.
change.
Yeah.
Could change.
That's
But
right.
okay, so you're saying
So
conspiracy theorists. What?
conspiracy theorists are looking for coherence. They're looking for an answer to the question, why do things happen the way that they do? So when I meet somebody who's really down the rabbit hole of weird conspiracy theories, that is a dead giveaway that what they're looking for is coherence because they want meaning, because they want to get happier. That's where I'm going to actually work with that person. I'm going to work with that person in alternative ways. And I'm not going to say you're an idiot. I'm not going to say that's not true. I'm not going to say, go read the paper, for God's sake. I'm going to say, let's work on different ways to understand why things happen the way that they do. I'm going to try to reconnect them with the faith of their youth. I'm going to try to get them really interested in science, different nutritious ways to actually understand why things happen the way they do.
So it's not erasing their curiosity nor their need to find coherence, but it's finding a healthier balance of those ingredients.
It's a redirection.
Okay.
It's a redirection towards something that will truly bring you a sense of coherence while not alienating you from, the people at your Thanksgiving table. So that's number one. It's just one element.
But while you're still on that, though, let's talk on that one element. Does that apply to everything? So can you meet somebody who, for instance, is so religious that they're not having a good time in life? Or can you meet somebody who is so science-based that they're not having a good time in life? Or does it only apply to like conspiracy?
Well, conspiracy theories, it tends to be kind of antisocial. And so if something that your sense of coherence is pulling you away from your love relationships, then that's going to be militating against another one of the elements of meaning, which is significance. Significance is that your life matters to someone. Your life has to matter to someone. No matter
hence the significant other part.
It has to be your spouse, your kids, your parents, your friends, God.
Wow.
You need to be significant. And when you're doing something with your sense of coherence, like conspiracy theories, that's ruining your relationships, then coherence goes up, but significance goes down, and you're defeating the purpose. Those are different elements that have to be in balance.
You become an expert in that subject, but alone in it.
And if you...
My mom said this a lot.
Nice.
My mom said
I got
this
to
a
meet
lot.
your mom because already your mom has made 2 appearances.
Yes. My mom used to say, if you love being right, you'll be right alone. It makes so much
you'll
sense
be an
now.
expert. Yeah.
You'll be certainly unmarried. It's a
Man,
good way to stay a bachelor.
You're cutting too deep, man.
I've been married 34 years. I'm wrong a lot.
But I guess that's the foundation of all relationship, right?
Yeah.
Is
Significance.
in fact, all society, funny enough, even if you just keep expanding on it, it
that's
becomes the like, how much do you care about being right?
Being right.
Versus,
that's the whole basis of our, culture of contempt. That's the whole basis of the fact that we can't get along politically, that we have ideological wars, cancel culture, all of it is this grievance about having to be right all the time, as opposed to, I wonder if somebody actually is saying something interesting to me. Inquiry is not about being right. Inquiry is about learning.
But the system isn't designed to reward that.
Activism is about being right.
Yes.
And so when you get the wrong balance of inquiry and activism, it turns the ship over.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying the system is important, though.
Right.
Because what you just said about like our childhoods,
Right.
something forms you,
Right.
something shapes you.
Right.
And oftentimes it's how the people around you responded to an action that you took.
Right.
Right? So now because of your suspenders, they respond to you a certain way. Because of the way you sing, you responded to because of the way I tripped, they responded to me a certain way. Because of the way you fell, people respond to you a certain way, you respond.
Right.
When we're living in a world where the systems themselves are rewarding people for one versus the other.
Right.
You don't get rewarded for compassion online.
No.
Let's be honest.
No,
You don't.
It's an entirely different scale of reward that you get. You get rewarded, but you don't get the same scale of reward, the same intensity of reward.
Yes.
Which is really, really important. You get a slow burn of what you're actually able to have. Like, you have a different kind of impact. You have to become, I guess, comfortable with the idea that you're not going to get the same intensity of reaction. And part of the reason for that, by the way, is the limbic system of the brain has more tissue dedicated to negative emotion than to positive emotion. Oh, wow. And so,
why is that?
Because in the evolutionary environment, in the Pleistocene,
yeah.
you needed negative emotions more than you needed positive emotions. Negative emotions are an alarm.
Yeah, to avoid danger.
So fear, anger, disgust, and sadness, those are the 4 negative emotions. And all
You're
of
good,
them,
man.
He's a professor.
That's it.
He's a professor. I love the idea that Eugene would be in your class like, yo, this guy. Yo. Hey, my man, I think you're going to ace this class. This guy. This guy in the front.
You to come to my class.
By the way, I love your fly.
Keep it down. Keep it down.
You're a horrible friend. Now he's yours, Arthur.
Perfect. You know, I got students who are big fans of yours. Like, I was there that day. I felt threatened. I felt unsafe.
Actually, by the way, I'm going to hold that as, let's keep
we're
moving
going back
through.
to, we're going down.
Please.
No, this is good.
This is like
there's
a
so many
nesting
branches.
doll of
This is exactly
science.
what it
This
is.
is like a Matryoshka Russian.
You
Let's
figured
go.
it out. This is exactly
Let's go.
what it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, but no, we'll hold that and let's move.
So
keep
the
moving down
negative
meaning.
emotions. So
Yeah.
the negative emotions exist because those are alarm systems for the things that can kill you. You know, you have sadness so that you will not be rejected by your kin. We're in the Pleistocene, Homo sapiens lived in bands of 30 to 50 individuals.
Okay.
Kin-based hierarchical bands of individuals. And the Pleistocene, starting 250,000 years ago, was when we got the modern brain. Our brains are the same. And so all the weird stuff that we do today is because it was suitable to being in hierarchical kin-based bands of 30 to 50 individuals. It explains almost everything. It explains how genders work together. It explains why we have envy, why we try to climb in hierarchies, why we want to be famous. All that stuff is actually explained by the Pleistocene brain, is what it comes down to. But also, that Pleistocene brain had a lot more space for the negative emotions. Positive emotions are nice to have. Negative emotions keep you alive. And so if you hear a little snap of a twig behind you, your first reaction is not, I bet that's my friend Trevor who's come to say hi. You know, like you run and ask questions later.
Yeah.
And you know, you want to make sure that you're not going to be abandoned. You want to make sure you're not going to get killed. You want to make sure you don't ingest poison. That's what disgust is for. There's a beautiful little place in the limbic system called the insular cortex. And that little thing is your disgust mechanism. And that's all that kept you from ingesting poison before there was like vaccines and antibiotics.
It was just a signifier that this thing could kill you.
Yeah, that's why something that smells dead, something that smells rotten, that's why it disgusts you. And that's why your dog, who's very disgusting, by the way, that's why he licks the floor, because he is actually not going to be exposed to the same kind of pathogens because of, you know, the constituent parts of his saliva that can neutralize some of the germs that you can't. That's why he's like, that's not disgusting. And yet you think that's disgusting and you tell your kids not to lick the floor. Anyway, I digress. The whole point is, thank God for negative emotions. They've kept you alive again and again and again and again.
But now you want to be in a place where your negative emotions are in control?
Well, you want to manage them so they don't manage you, because we're not in the Pleistocene. And that's why we have this great big prefrontal cortex, all this tissue behind the forehead, 30% of your brain by weight, that gives you consciousness, right? Your dog doesn't have consciousness. Your dog doesn't know it's alive. Your dog doesn't know it's going to die. Your dog doesn't have future ideas or past ideas. Your dog's just here now. That's why your dog's happier than you.
It can't tell time. Yes.
Oh, whoa.
Because your dog
It's why your dog is happier than you.
Because your dog's mindful. Your dog is like, you're thinking about, well, I got to do this thing. I hope my flight's on time tomorrow. And, you know, it's like, I got this thing. It's, oh man, I haven't falling out with somebody I really care about. And what's going to happen next year? And what if the economy tanks? And your golden retriever's like, I'm sitting here with Trevor.
You're
now.
remembering your dog is enjoying.
Your dog is here now. Here now. You're not. You're in the future.
So does that also mean that your dog can experience a lot more stress and pain because the now can last forever for it?
Well,
Like, let's say your dog is experiencing an adverse experience.
Right.
Is that thing lasting forever in its mind?
well, the limbic system for the dog is pretty. The Homo sapiens and canines have they actually evolved in parallel.
Okay.
So they have very, very similar emotions. So when your dog looks at you with love, you have a dog?
No, I had one.
Yeah.
but long
And,
story.
and your dog looked at you with love, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Your dog was feeling love. Your dog actually gets oxytocin, which is a neuropeptide in the brain, the bonding hormone, the sense of love that you get when you look at your kids and your friends and your beloved. Your dog looks at you and you stroke the dog and give your dog eye contact. It gets a 56% bump in oxytocin, just like
Wow.
you. Your cat, 12% bump.
I knew it, assholes. I always say this.
Your dog loves you. Your cat.
We shouldn't even say
Tolerates
your
you.
cat. You should
The
say the
cat can
cat.
do without you.
Hey, let's say the cat you live with. Please, let's stop perpetuating this myth. It is not your cat. It is a cat that lives at your house.
It's eating your food.
Those things do not, that is not your cat. There are a few cats that are exceptions. I know some cat owners will be like, my cat's nice. That's your cat.
That's right.
It's an outlier. Most cats, they're not your
Cats
friends.
are takers.
My man.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress again. So that's so about, negative emotion is really, really interesting and useful. Is the whole point about that. Where were we at? We're talking about
So
meaning,
now,
right?
meaning. Meaning was the thing we're talking about. So
we
we're
did
breaking
coherence
down
and significance.
Yes.
But there's one more.
Yeah, what?
The most important one, purpose. Purpose. So everybody thinks meaning and purpose are the same. They're not. They're not the same. Purpose is a subcomponent of meaning. That's your goals and direction and sense of what you're doing with your life. It's the answer to the question, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Okay.
And if you don't know the answer to the question, why am I doing what I'm doing, you're not going to have meaning and you're not going to be happy. That's why if you have kids, one of the most important ways to actually motivate them to do things with more joy is to give them a sense of purpose, which is goals and direction for a better future.
Give me an example of that at like different age levels for a parent, for instance. So,
So-
let's say it's a 5-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 25-year-old.
So a 5-year-old is the way that you motivate a 5-year-old is that you say, if you're a good little boy, Santa Claus is going to bring you some nice presents.
Okay.
You're motivating them to behave in a particular way happily because that's their kind of little kid purpose
Got
is getting the Christmas morning and getting a bunch of stuff under the tree. You get a little bit older, it's like get good grades in school, you're going to get to go to a good university and you're going to have a better life. When you get a little bit older in life, it's going to be, if you actually behave in a particular way, you're going to meet the love of your life. And that's really going to complete you.
So it's always reward based.
It's
Are we-
always
Are we
reward-
just like reward?
It's kind of goal based. It's kind of getting to a particular goal and making progress toward the goal. So how we're really wired, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
We think that what we really want is the reward. What we really want is progress toward the reward.
Yep.
And if we think that we're going to be in bliss when we get to the reward, we suffer from a syndrome called arrival fallacy. It's a funny thing. It's very common that Olympic athletes who win the gold suffer a clinical depression in the two months after they win the gold because they've been suffering, and they think that all this progress, which was awesome, is actually going to lead to permanent bliss when they win the gold. And it's just another day. They go back to their hotel. They're like, looking
With
at
this
the
thing
wall.
around their neck.
Yeah, with the thing around their neck, and it's just another day, and they're looking at the rest of their lives when they're no longer winning Olympic gold medals, and it's very, very depressing. So this is a funny thing about dieting is another example of this. All diets will make you lose weight. I mean, except for the all candy corn diet or something, right? I mean, it's like any sensible diet. You can cut fat, you can cut carbs, you can cut, right? You'll lose weight. And it's awesome, right, if you're trying to lose weight, because the scale goes down. It's a reward every single day in progress toward the goal. But what's the reward when you actually hit your target weight? And that's never getting to eat what you like ever again for the rest of your life. Congratulations.
Damn.
That's why diets don't work. They got about an 80% failure rate, and 30% of people who go on strong diets and hit their goal developing an eating disorder because they want to keep making progress. Because progress is everything in life.
We're going to continue this conversation right after this short break. All right, Eugene, let's play a little game. Make something fun. 2 truths and a lie. Here we go. 1, I've had to tell a world leader that their fly was undone. 2, when getting dressed, I don't do sock, shoe. I do sock, shoe. 3, I've been a Verizon customer for 11 years. What do you think?
Very confused. First of all, why would a world leader own a fly? Because those things just come uninvited. Secondly, lying to your friends is not cool. There's never been a game.
No, Eugene, a fly is for like the zip is what, and then it's not a lie. It's a game where I'm trying. It's like I give you information. Okay, I lied. All 3 are true, Eugene. And in case you were thinking, Verizon isn't as expensive as you think. In fact, if you bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill, they'll give you a better deal. And the reason I've been with them for this long is just because I travel so much. I need a network that's reliable. That's right, a better deal on the best network with the most ways to save on plans, streaming, and phone deals. Take your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to your local Verizon store today, get your better deal, and start saving for real. Based on Root Metrics' best overall mobile network performance, US second half 2025. All rights reserved. You must provide recent consumer mobile bill in the name of the person redeeming the deal. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply. So, do you understand how 2 truths, and do you understand it now?
I understand that you didn't have to lie first before telling me that Verizon is the best.
No, I wasn't lying. Eugene, it's not a lie. I wouldn't lie to you. It's a game. Okay, I'm sorry.
I lied.
Ah. I think about the conversations I have with my younger brother are always fascinating to me because of how he sees the world. I think he's one of the smartest people I know. And I always tell him at his age, he's way smarter than I ever was, maybe even now, But we had this conversation about video games. And I said to him, there's a video online that I really loved, and it was some kid who made this video said, how you play video games is how you live your life, right? And I was so intrigued by this because he did this whole breakdown. He said, some people play video games to finish the video game.
Right.
They get in, they try and finish the story as quickly as possible, get to the end, save the princess, end the story. Thank you very much. And he said, some people play video games and then get bored and quit. Everyone has different methods, but he said, but you can learn a lot about yourself because playing a video game, especially in today's games, is like a simulation of how you are. And I realized for myself, and I realized for what a good game is, great games are the ones that make you feel like you're trying to finish the game, but constantly trick you into doing things along the way, the side quests, that make you feel like you're actually trying to get to the end, but you get so swept up in these mini moments along the way that you enjoy the game itself.
Because it's the progress.
But those are the great games.
Journey.
Yeah, they do it for you, but I've
And
realized...
they do say it like that, it's progress.
Yes.
You get progress points.
They literally write progress.
Yeah.
But I've noticed in the games where they don't do that for you, if you're not careful, you can, and I'd love you to speak to this beyond gaming, but it's like, if they don't do it for you, there's some games where you can literally just go straight to the end as quickly as possible and be done. And I find you can be very depressed. As you say, you get there and you're like, I don't know about this.
I don't like this game.
This was it,
Disappointing
and it was too hard, by the way, because you didn't level up the way you should have. Or there's the inverse, whereas you spend so much time in the side quests that you don't move towards progress because nothing's pushing you, nothing's propelling you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then what happens is you quit the game.
Right.
So you play 40% of the game. You do everything around getting to the end, but then you don't get to the end because the game didn't. I forget what they call it, but essentially, some games will dole it out in the right amount.
Right.
You're moving forward, now you're moving sideways, moving forward, sideways. Some go do whatever you want, and it's interesting how that flips. And I wondered how that applies to life in what you're saying.
Almost everything is like this. People who truly are all about enjoying the journey, they enjoy their lives. Because they understand that life is all about making progress toward particular moral goals. People who are all about actually getting to the end. So what's the best predictor of having a crummy marriage is having a destination wedding. Why? Because your wedding isn't a destination. Your wedding is just like the beginning of a journey. Destination wedding, destination. My destination is actually...
You're beginning something with the end.
Locking that person down forever. No! There's no destination in your wedding. Elope, justice of the peace. I'm Catholic. Don't do that. We're Catholics. We don't do that. You know,
Remember that.
priest. Go to a priest. Go to a priest. Go to a priest. Go to a priest.
Hallowed be thy name.
But
Baba wetu sema Zulu.
there you go. I wanted it in Zulu.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I want Zulu because my grandparents didn't learn the Zulu.
This man is 10 months Zulu. You don't forget that.
It's an epigenetic expression.
Yes.
It's going to come out. So this is really important, right? You got to see your wedding day as a step in progress toward the eternal bliss that actually comes from a relationship, your soulmate with whom you can actually experience the divine and on whose face you'll be gazing as you take your dying breath. That's marriage.
That's poetry.
Marriage isn't wedding day.
So then do you think the worst thing we've done, and I'm not trying to incept you because this is what I think, but I'll tell you what I think and you tell me if you agree. I've often thought one of the worst things that happened to society was a series of movies, whether it was kids' movies or adult movies, rom-coms. But that were happily ever after. Like they ended at the moment where the people met. And I always wondered what that did to people's brains growing up in a world where they went like, oh, if you meet the person you love, that's the end. And then it's like, this is it. Like,
that's right.
What is that?
That is the same
did that
idea
to us as well.
I never finished Pac-Man.
There was they meet and then Miss
Yeah,
Pac-Man.
but I've never seen the end of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I saw Junior Pac-Man, so I know what they did, but I don't know.
But there's Junior Pac-Man?
Yeah, Junior Pac-Man
Junior
happened for sure.
Pac-Man.
There was Junior Pac-Man.
Junior Pac-Man.
Yeah, Junior Pac-Man.
Like
so I knew that,
baby Pac-Man.
Yeah, like a tiny little Pac-Man had a little bow and then the but like a tiny little Pac-Man.
So it was a girl Pac-Man.
Yeah, there was a boy and a girl. There was a girl and a boy. No, there was Miss Pac-Man, but then there was also Junior Pac-Man.
Junior Pac-Man. Good.
Yeah, no,
the whole family.
Yeah, Pac-Man had.
I like these family values in video games like this.
Yeah, no, Pac-Man did it, bro. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi did it well.
No, they were brothers, bro. I think you're mixing up the story.
Yeah, they were family members.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah,
My
family.
kids are, they'd be like, what are these guys? Pac-Man? What are they talking about?
Okay, Elden Ring. Fine, we'll bring in Elden Ring.
Super Mario?
Call of Duty. We'll go. We got every game covered here. You tell us the generation.
I don't know.
We're
And
here.
we've got you. We've got you.
Yeah.
We got you. It doesn't matter what it is. But help us on like.
Yeah, this is a problem. Happily Ever After actually gives you a distorted understanding of what brings happiness in life. It's the journey. It's walking into the future together with your beloved. It's actually the process of actually Lewis and Clark looking for and going down the Missouri River as they're going toward the Pacific Ocean. It's not the Pacific Ocean. You just have to have. There's a really great word in Spanish. That's a metaphoric word. It's a sailing word. It's called rumbo. El rumbo. El rumbo is the word in English is rum line, RHUM line.
Boring.
And it's a sail. I know. But it's not a metaphor that we use typically. That is the destination that's a Euclidean straight line from here to there. It's like the piece of yarn with a pin on the end of it, right?
Flying like what do they call it? Straight as the crow flies. As the crow flies.
As the crow flies,
Yes.
exactly right.
Okay.
So and that's an important concept because you say, I want my life to have el rumbo. Yo quiero que mi vida tenga un rumbo. Is what you would say in Spanish, right? And what that means basically is I want to have a destination. I want to have a something that is the arrival so that I can make progress. The point is not that you're going to be on this line the whole time. The point is that you have to have it, but because you can't make the journey without it. Otherwise, you're going to be like so depressing about cruises. There's a cruise ship. I don't want that. I don't want to get in a boat and just go in circles.
Okay.
Because that doesn't feel like you're making progress in life.
Now you're a Roomba. Very different.
Nice.
Not going in one straight line.
That's like the vacuum cleaner, right?
Yes, that little. Have you seen how that thing moves? You don't want your life like that.
Didn't they just go bankrupt? Didn't the company go bankrupt?
I wouldn't be shocked because have you seen that
These
thing?
kind of reviews.
I mean,
No wonder.
It's a metaphor of unhappiness. So what do you want?
So that's interesting. You want to be in a place where, I mean, this requires a total rewiring of the brain. Though.
Yeah.
Like how I even think about myself. I don't know how you think about it for yourself, but I think a lot of people would relate to this idea of going, wait. But Professor Brooks, I've been told, get the job and then life.
Right.
No, get the grades.
Get the grades,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to get the job.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
the grades is the job.
And then
Right.
get the house.
Get the job.
Right.
You're going to be. Then you get the house. You're going to be happy. Get the person
the
you live in
car.
the house with.
Yeah,
You're good.
You get the marriage.
You get the marriage,
It's like
yeah.
guys even say, if you marry me, you'll make me happy for the rest of my life. That's what they say. And I got data on that. No, it doesn't matter what you say on your wedding day. It matters what you say every day after that.
So what should you say to somebody? Not if you marry me, then
Let's go on a journey together.
okay.
Help complete me.
Oh,
Because
okay.
together we'll wire our batteries together. We'll create an antenna to God.
Yeah, teach me something.
Let's
That's
work.
beautiful.
Let's walk through life together.
Yeah.
Let's walk. I want to walk through life together.
Damn, that's different.
Yeah, it's a completely different perspective, but it actually makes perfect sense, and people kind of know that that's the case. And if you don't do that, by the way, there's an easy neurobiology on why this happens. We think that if we get that thing, that burst of positive emotion, there's this funny little part of the brain called the ventral tegmental area. When you tap it, it gives you this sense of euphoria. And so you can get it from, your girlfriend says, I love you, or you can get it from a huge bump of cocaine. We have very thrifty brains. It's the same part of
What a broad spectrum.
yeah, totally. Like, and it gives you the sense of immediate ebullience, joy, right? And we think we get that thing that we really, really want, that the ventral tegmental area is going to get tapped over and over and over again. But let me tell you, if you do something that taps your ventral tegmental area continuously, you're going to wind up in rehab.
You're on drugs. Yep.
You're an addict. I mean, that's exactly.
Is that because we weren't designed to have the ventral tegmental tapped that many times?
We're not designed to feel emotion continuously.
Yeah.
Remember, emotions are an alarm that there's something good for you or something bad for you that you should approach or avoid. The reptilian part of your brain in the back of your head is sensing stuff. That sends data to the limbic system, which is between 2 and 40 million years old. It predates Homo sapiens. And that's what creates emotions. Emotions are reactions, a universal language to you that there's something out there, that there's a threat or an opportunity. And the opportunities give you positive emotion, and the threats out there give you negative emotion, and they clear really quickly, so you're ready for the next thing.
So should we be in nothing state?
No. We should actually understand our emotions, not chase them as if we're going to keep them forever. For example, if you're looking for continuous positive emotion on the basis of what you have or experience, you get on what we call the hedonic treadmill.
Yes.
You've heard about
hedonic
this.
adaptation.
Yeah,
yes.
hedonic adaptation, which is basically I get the the person that I love, I get the money, I get the millionth Instagram follower,
You just
whatever
keep
my
shifting
thing is. And you're just running, and that treadmill starts speeding up until it's going with terrifying speed, and then you're afraid to step off it because you're going to face plant if you try to step off a speeding treadmill.
Yeah.
And that's no way to live. And you're hedonically adapting, which is called homeostasis, where the brain is adapting emotionally back to the baseline state. So you're ready for the next set of circumstances.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever received in my life came from my best friend's dad when we were still in school, and they had grown to do well for themselves. They didn't, he didn't grow up doing well, and so he had a nice car. They had a very decent house, but it wasn't like super wealthy. It wasn't a mansion or anything. But I remember speaking to him once, and I said, I asked him, I was like, "Yo, Bab Nzele, can I ask you a question? How much money do I need to earn to be like happy and to be set and to be good?"
What did he tell you?
And he said to me, "Yes, Trevor." He said, "Can I tell you something?" He said, "I know some people," and this was, now 20 years ago. He said, "I know some people who earn," and he said, "I know some people who earn 5,000 Rand a month, $500, let's say, or 250, whatever." And he's like, "And I know some people who earn 50,000 Rand a month." I was like, 50,000 Rand a month? That's
insane.
impossible.
Yeah,
No one can earn that kind of money. And he's like, "No." He said, "Let me tell you now." He said, "I know more of my friends who earn the 10,000 Rand a month who are happy than I do the ones who earn the 50,000. He said, because with them, they spend that money and more every month, then get depressed that they only have it, and then they try and move it to 60, then they spend 60, then they move it to 70, then they spend 70. Then he said, I've watched them move up that ladder." And he said, he's genuine, and I'm like 16 years old, and he said to me, "I know it seems like a myth, but there is no number." He said, "I've seen everyone in my life." He said, there is no number. And I was like, I can't believe anyone wouldn't be happy with 50,000 Rand a month. My brain was like, that's not possible.
And the same thing is true with power. And the same thing is true with pleasure. And the same thing is true with fame. Fame is the worst, by the way. Fame is the only one of life's rewards that you can only ever be happy in spite of, never because of. But you want to be famous. Everybody wants to be famous because fame is rising in the hierarchy of your band of 30 to 50 individuals, where more people are thinking about you than you're thinking about, because you're more likely to survive, get your caloric needs met, and get lots of mates. The trouble is that we can't accommodate that tendency to a world in which we can actually be famous in front of millions of people. That will make you literally insane.
Okay.
It will make you literally insane unless you're very self-governing. unless you're really self-managing. And you know tons of people in show business
Yeah.
that are pretty nuts. They're pretty nuts because they're on this treadmill of more and more and more, and I
Yeah.
can't have enough. And it's like drinking seawater. The more that I drink, the thirstier
The
I
more
get.
dehydrated they get.
Exactly right.
It's also, it also does this thing to you where, you know, when you think about like the fame of it all and how powerful it is, I've often thought one of the most genius things that TikTok did that I don't think any other social media platform ever did, but I watched it on TikTok. TikTok allows everyone to go viral. If you look at old social media, there was sort of like the hierarchy that existed in old media moved into it. So on Instagram, it was still like, oh, the most watched is the Kardashians, and there's this actor, and this is, you know what I mean? It was very difficult to just be random
Right.
and have, no. TikTok, go to people's accounts, watch how there's one video almost everyone has that is an outlier, that's a blip in their world, and then watch how their usage and posting exponentially jumps after that.
This is Vegas. It works the brain in the same way. So
Las Vegas?
Yeah. So the way to get rich is to work really hard and get a good education and be responsible and show up and create value and create some more value and then 30 or 40 years later you got a bunch of money. Or go to a casino and get a hit. And so the result is, I want the easy way.
Play the lottery.
Ching, ching,
Yeah.
Right? Roulette, that's TikTok.